Mullingar is the venue for Greyhound View Live, our first visit to the track for the feature event of the Midlands calendar, the Gain Feeds Irish Cesarewitch. The Cesarewitch goes back to 1960 when Pocket Glass was the inaugural winner. It was run at Navan then, but when that track closed its gates, the Cesarewitch found a new home down the road in Mullingar in 2000. This is the 10th running of the Cesarewitch at Mullingar, and this year's event has lived up to the great tradition of the 600-yard classic. The 2009 Cesarewitch has produced an intriguing final lineup. In one we have Freddie Mac, trained by Tommy O'Donovan, this for a powerful finisher. Two is one of the big fancies here, Frisky Fantasy, trained by John McGee, brilliant semi-final winner. In three we have Top Louis, which is trained by Ernie Cook, a very consistent greyhound, goes up and stays. In four, the local representative, Springwell Dot, owned by Dennis Hannon, a very consistent greyhound. In five, we have the fast-starting Cocaine Lady, which is owned by Maura Malloy and will surely be up there in the early stages. And in six, the likely favourite, Slick Sue, owned by Keith Alsop and trained by Pat Buckley, well drawn in six and one to beat. Also on the programme, we will have the Gain Feeds Intercounty Challenge, the Gain Feeds Irish Cesarewitch Consolation Final, and then the big one, the Gain Feeds Irish Cesarewitch Final for 2009 is off at 7:48.
Hello, good evening and welcome to Mullingar for a big night. No less a check than 22.5 grand to give away to the winner of the feature race tonight. That's the Gain Feeds Irish Cesarewitch Final. That promises to be 33 seconds of pure drama. Well, no less a personage than on Taoiseach himself, Brian Cowan, is a regular visitor to Mullingar Greyhound Stadium, and we caught a few words with him on a previous visit.
Of course, you're a local man just next door in County Offaly.
Yeah, I just lived in Clara, originally from Clara. I live in Tullamore. My brother Barry is a regular here. He's time in his hands. He just does auctioneering and a bit of business, and he's able to come down here and run dogs and train dogs. And as I say, if they're any good, Francie takes over from here. So we've a long association with the Murray family many years ago, and the only facilities was the back of the shed with a cup of tea, maybe, and a ham sandwich if you were lucky, and a couple of bookies. And it's tremendous now. It's great to see so many people from outside the doggy fraternity, if you like, coming and enjoying, and that's what it's about. I mean, but there's a lot of people going dog racing, thankfully, and it's great to see the corporate thing working, and the present board and the previous board, I think, have to be congratulated. Tremendous visionary development of this sport.
Well, of course, the Taoiseach's interest is typical of the following the sport has here in the Midland counties, and of course, sport in the Midlands means rivalry and an innovative competition tonight. One of the races is, of course, the Gain Intercounty Challenge. 6 counties represented, needless to say, Westmeath, also Kildare, Meath, Longford, Offaly and Dublin. Let's join Michael now for the parade.
Yes, well, this race coming up now, the Intercounty Challenge, Gain Feeds, and a very interesting contest. It's only an A3 event, but promised to be quite an event, with Mondial Jack going in one. This one owned by Edward Malloy, trained by Tommy Bolton, who's a great record here at Mullingar track. This son of Brett Lee and Curran's Lady. Very good early pace, Mondial Jack. It'd be no surprise to see Mondial Jack going clear down the back. That's number one, Mondial Jack. So Tommy Bolton, as I say, has had a great run here so far this year. He's trying to get 100 winners here at Mullingar to raise a lot of money for the retired Greyhound Trust. So he could have one here, perhaps. In 2 in this race, we have Kjol. And Kjol is representing County Meath on this occasion, owned by John O'Neill and Joe Price, trained by Susan Price, this one a daughter of Dave's mentor, and Knock Princess. 4 wins from 12. That's Kjol's record, and has been running reasonably well in Harold's Cross in recent outings, but has form here at Mullingar and at Longford. That's number 2, Kjol, representing County Meath. And then we have the next neighbouring county of Longford. And Longford is represented here by Cranley Bound, the Cranley prefix very much associated with the O'Reilly family. Sean O'Reilly, the owner and trainer of this son of Headbound, and Emma Snowdrop. 4 wins from 20, and, well, Cranley Bound will be one of the more fancied runners down in the ring. In 4, we have one of the famed prefixes, Droopy's April. And this one is trained by Liam Morley Brereton. That's a son of Knockabout, our daughter of Knockabout Walk, and Droopy Sporty. And, well, Droopy's April representing the Offaly gang here, and Brian Cowan himself will be cheering this one on here. Number 4, Droopy's April. Good form also around Harold's Cross in recent times. In 5 then we have, well, a real anomaly here, because Paddy McCormack, the Iron Man from Road, and Paddy, the trainer of Fahilas, which is representing Dublin due to the owner Ronnie Craven being a resident in Dublin. But then of course Ronnie was an All-Ireland football finalist with Roscommon. And Fahilas, well, she's a very consistent performer, this daughter of Premier County and Lolo's Choice, entitled to run a big race here. Number 5, Fahi's Lass, possibly the favourite for this one. And in 6 then we have the Westmeath runner. This is the local affair, the Timely Dream, owned by Pat McMahon and trained by Tony Fallon, a son of a Han lad, and Baroda. 4 wins from 13 and a winner of his last few races here at Mullingar. Really in form at the moment, and there'll be a big support here for the local runner in this Intercounty Challenge. So that's the lineup here for it. Well, David is down in the ring. David, what's the betting? Is it pretty open?
Well, Michael, it's certainly trap number 5. Fahilas is the 6-4 clear favourite. It's 2-1 Mondial Jack for our open of the Gain Feeds Inter-County Challenge 525. What a night we're going to have here at Mullingar. The big one is a little later on in our programme, of course. It's the Gain Feeds Cesarewitch, over 600 yards. And but we just go through the betting. Trap 3 there. Cranley Bound also priced at 3-1 for this one. But all the punters down here for our opening race, they want this trap 5 Fahilas from the Iron Man from Road. And let's join Robert.
We all know about rivalry on the GA pitch, and we have an Inter-County Challenge coming up next. Paddy McCormack, the Iron Man from Rhodes, on my right. Paddy, you've played for Offaly, you've represented Offaly. You're representing Dublin tonight. What's all that about?
It's a bit of sport, I know, but I represented Offaly back in the 60s, and I played against Dublin, and any time I played against Dublin we beat them. So I hope that the other 2 lads are listening to this, because I hope I beat them tonight, because they're representing Kildare and Offaly. Now I'm an Offaly man through and through, but it's all a bit of sport, and that's what the game is all about, a bit of sport. And I hope everyone enjoys it tonight.
I also have Tommy Bolton and Liam Burton beside me. Tommy, you're representing Kildare, Liam's representing Offaly. Is there much rivalry within Greyhound training?
There is very good rivalry, but it's friendly rivalry. It's very good, it's healthy as well. You have a bit of fun. I win one night, maybe Paddy wins the next night, Liam would win the next night. You know, you have a bit of crack, a bit of sport, you enjoy it, and that's what it's all about. And you go home happy at the end of the night.
And Liam, do you have a chance tonight?
Yeah, we have a bit of a chance, but we're going against the norm, with Paddy representing Dublin and I representing Offaly, and the bitch will be probably going against the norm as well, because she won't be like the usual Offaly teams coming late and hard at the finish. If she's not gone from the start, we'll be in trouble. But we're in there with a big chance tonight, and I'd enjoy betting the Iron Man from Road. Don't worry about that.
Well, there you go, plenty of rivalry, but it's all in a good cause, and that's in our next race.
Yes, well, that's the scene down there with the trainers not knowing which counties they're representing, but we see them at the moment, the runners going into traps for this Inter-County Challenge. The Gain Feeds 525, and the favourite here, number 5, Fahilas, as David was telling us, 6-4 last show, 2-1 the top Mondial Jack. I'm sure there's a few quid also for 3 and 6 here, Cranley Bound and Timely Dream. But they're all in now for this 7th race on the card, the Gain Feeds Inter-County Challenge, over 525 yards. The hare's now on its way for this one. In 1 is Mondial Jack, 2 is Kyo, 3 Cranley Bound, 4 Droopy's April, in 5 Fahilas, and 6 Timely Dream. 5-4 Fahilas. The hare comes up behind traps. Ready for off, and away to go. She's not away too well at all. On the inside is 1 Mondial Jack, out front as usual, with 3 going well in second, Cranley Bound, but into the back, 1 lost ground there, Mondial Jack, and he's not a strong stayer. He's in front, being challenged now by 3 Cranley Bound. 2 is making ground, Kjol, and Fahilas trying to get into it, but down into the third bend. 3 on the inside, Kjol, 1 again, Mondial Jack, 5 Fahilas just in behind. A lot of messing in this race, and out front is number 3, that's Cranley Bound, up the straight, number 3 Cranley Bound going to win it. It's number 3 Cranley Bound. 5 finishes fast on the outside. Fahilas with 6. Timely Dream in third. 3 and 5 there at the finish of that one. 5 Fahilas was probably a very unlucky loser if she has actually lost it. The time is 29.89. So a very closely contested affair there. A few of the dogs checking on their bends, and 5 Fahilas appeared particularly unlucky when down at the third bend where she was forced to check, but then she came with a renewed effort wide and late up the straight. 3 the winner is called the winner there. Cranley Bound are wide apart now as we see the rerun of this one. It's 1 Mondial Jack which gets away in front. 5 is slowly away, as you see. Fahila, she ran quite a race in defeat there, but 1 Mondial Jack seemed to get lost around the bend, having broken fast and gone up clear. Challenged immediately by 3 Cranley Bound and 2 Kjol back in third. Now Cranley Bound goes down, looks as if he was taking over on the inside, but is still just about trying to take the lead at the third bend. He checks there. 5 Fahilas checks and is passed by number 2 Kjol. Now up the straight, 3 Cranley Bound looks all over a winner at this stage. He does hold on to win it, but it's mighty close to the finish, with 5 Fahilas finishing strongly on the wide outside. But it's Cranley Bound winning this one for Longford and Sean O'Reilly. And there you see Cranley Bound. Sorry, that's 5 Fahilas, which is beaten in the race. That's the runner-up in the race, Fahilas, which is trained by Paddy McCormack. That one, the daughter of Premier Fantasy. But the winner is Elsewhere, which is Cranley Bound, number 3. And there we see a shot of the crowd there, and they're making their way back out again in front of the bookmakers' rings after a lot of them going for vantage positions on the various closed circuits, etc. here on this race. Good crowd here tonight at Mullingar track for this traditional Cesarewitch final night. And there's the official result of the Gainfeeds Intercounty Challenge. The winner, number 3 Cranley Bound, at 3-1. Second was 5 Fahilas at 6-4, and third, number 6 Timely Dream at 4-1.
Victory for Longford. So you've seen some of the action on the track, but let's look at the facilities that attract over 60,000 people a year to Mullingar Greyhound Stadium.
Greyhound racing has been run in Mullingar since 1932. Centrally located in the town, the stadium draws regular patrons from Westmeath, Offaly, Longford, and often welcomes visitors from further afield. Mullingar Greyhound Stadium went through a massive renovation in 2001. The old stand was reconstructed to include comfortable surroundings and convenient facilities, now commonplace at modern greyhound stadia throughout Ireland. The ground floor is a very intimate setting and would be more considered a local pub than a greyhound stadium, with familiar faces at each race meeting. With fast food and bar facilities, convenient tote booths and an extensive array of video monitors relaying race and betting information to punters, it is ideal as a meeting place or a night out with a difference. There is easy access to trackside, where you can enjoy the true speed of greyhound racing up close, and where you can also place bets with the tote booths locally trackside. Upstairs at Mullingar Greyhound Stadium you can enjoy racing in comfortable surroundings, with tiered seating offering excellent views of the action. There are also bar and tote facilities available. Video monitors throughout the facility keep you up to date, as well as relaying inter-track racing live from other stadia in Ireland. Also on the upper level is the restaurant, the operation of which was only recently taken over by the famous Dobbins restaurant. The excellence of Dobbins cuisine is combined with the entertainment of greyhound racing to create a unique social mix. A visit to Dobbins at Mullingar offers a quality menu in comfortable surroundings, convenient tote betting at your table, and panoramic views of racing. The new caterers have added an exciting new bar food menu in the upper level, serving a wide variety of food to accommodate patrons who just want a quick bit to eat while enjoying the racing action. Greyhound racing at Mullingar Greyhound Stadium is an ideal group or company night out. Large groups can be comfortably accommodated, and a wide variety of catering options are available, anything from finger food to the dinner menu in the Grandstand restaurant.
Mullingar Greyhound Stadium is ideal for large corporate groups of all sizes, basically because of the facilities that we have.
Facilities, and live here behind me, of course, people taking advantage of them. We're just having the presentation for the winner of the last race, the Longford dog, Trap 3, who came home in a tight finish in that particular one. And remember, throughout the year there's a great calendar of events here, including the Midland Puppy Derby and the Fair Warrior. So January to December, as a rule, something happening at Mullingar Greyhound Track. But coming up, of course, the Cesarewitch. Before that, the Consolation final for greyhounds beaten in the semi-final. Join us after the break for that. Welcome back to Greyhound View live from Mullingar Greyhound Stadium. Great atmosphere here, of course, tonight. But last week we did show you some of the nominees for the National Greyhound Awards. The winners were announced last Sunday night at the Killishy House Hotel in Naas. Let's show you now who picked up some of the coveted awards.
The winner of the Sprint Award, the Sprinter of the Year in Ireland for 2008, Almighty Jack.
Piper in second, but it's Almighty Jack racing right away with this. Coming to the line, Almighty Jack claims the classic from Fast Piper in second.
With the help of God, if you can keep him sound, you know yourself, we dream, but you know, it's brilliant. And a night like tonight, it makes it all very worthwhile.
The winner of Stair of the Year is owned by Tony Howard, trained by Paul Hennessy, and led by Philip Olympic Show.
And for 2008, a superb display here by a superb bitch. Olympic Show wins the Corn Cuchulainn. Second is for Droopy's Quiff. Back in third.
Well, she had everything. She can start, she gets the distance, she finishes well. She's the first complete greyhound that I've owned. And of course, she couldn't have been trained by a better man to get the best out of her.
Well, she has been good, you know, we had a great year with her, and it couldn't happen to a nicer man. Tony and Lorraine have been with us since we had Trade Union and Isle of Glass and some of those great dogs, and Olympic Point, Tony and all them, and you know, they've been around for years with us and great supporters of us and of greyhound racing, and it's lovely to see them winning in a Greyhound of the Year award.
The winner of the Bitch of the Year is Oran Majestic.
But it's Oran Majestic in front in the stripes and going to win it. Oran Majestic takes it. It's very close for second between 3 Forest Baby and 2 Parnell Daisy, but Oran Majestic has won the Sporting Press Irish Oaks. Glad to the puppy down.
When I got the bitch, she had a couple of little problems. We got her sorted out, and the rest is history.
One man and his dog, isn't it? I mean, you know, you get a farmer with a dog and you get a businessman with a dog, and it's just, it's phenomenal.
Winner of Dog of the Year for 2008 is Shelburne
Still fifth but motoring off the final bend, and it's Slip the Lark out front. Here comes Shelburne Aston after him. Slip the Lark, Shelburne Aston. Oh, what a finish!
I'm delighted. But this is all down to Bridget. Bridget trains the stock. We went all the way through the Derby, and I'd ring Bridget every Saturday morning. I'd say, Bridget, what do you think? How was the dog? Oh, he's good. And the night he won the Derby, I said, Bridget, how's the dog? She said, he's brilliant. And that was good enough for me.
Our newest member of the Hall of Fame, Seamus Twain.
It's still out in front. Lou Hodges going to win the Derby for 3 Tyra Kieran.
Niall Hanshaw, when I bought him for Noel Ryan, I told him that I thought he'd win the English Derby. I said I love the style he runs, and I said the way the races run in England, I think he's an ideal dog for it. He won one, but he should have won 2.
Yes, well, that was exactly 1 week ago when the awards were handed out, and well, we saw some great greyhounds in action there. Some great greyhounds were honoured on that particular night, and I wonder, will any of the dogs we see here tonight, well, will they be honoured this time next year when the 2009 awards are handed out? But meanwhile, we're back here at Mullingar for the second biggest race of the night. This is the Consolation final of the Gain Feeds Irish Cesarewitch, and in one here is Marked Urgent, trained by Paul Hennessy, for Christopher McMahon, a son of a Han lad, and T-Tow Lash. Now, don't expect to see this fella too early. He's noted as a slow starter and a very strong finisher, so watch for him coming through off that final bend with a big surge. It'll be difficult to keep out of the first 3. In 2 then, we have a local runner here, Lockhill Lad, which is owned by Mary Jenningson Burr, a daughter of Digital and Must Fly, has won 5 from 20 and has been placed in 13 of those 20 races. This Lockhill Lad, he doesn't know how to run a bad race, and a very useful greyhound around Mullingar. Then in 3 we have Ernie Twins. You also saw Pat Curtin there a few minutes ago in that award slot. Well, Pat is the trainer of Ernie Twins, which is owned by Carleen and Kate O'Reilly, a daughter of Hot Show Ben and Ernie Tiger. Good early pace this one. She can really get out running at times and is going to be one of the fancies here. So that's number 3, Ernie Twins, as we move on now to number 4 in this race, which is Forlaca Lad, owned and trained by Cyril Morris. Cyril has had good dogs for many, many years. This one is son of a hand lad and good luck. Consistent performer. He's won 4 out of 21. Not the greatest strike rate. He's been running his last few races around Harold's Cross. This fellow travels everywhere, performs nicely on all occasions. Number 4, Forlaca Lad. In 5 then is Dartry Spring, which is trained by Vera Crorkin, already among the winners here tonight. This one owned by AJ McPhillips, his son of Premier Fantasy and Spring Edition. Good strike rate, 10 wins from 30. I saw it winning recently in Longford, doing it very nicely there on occasion, and is entitled to run a big race here too from Trap 5, Dartry Spring. And so then we move on to Trap 6, which is Arkhill Nutter, which is owned by Jimmy Mangan and trained by Robert Gleeson, a son of Top Savings and Aniko Amanda. Just 1 win from 9, but this is a young dog that showed an awful lot of promise. Well drawn here in Trap 6 and entitled to run a very, very big race. So number 6, Arkhill Nutter, bringing him around. So now I imagine this is going to be a pretty open betting affair. David is down there in the ring. David, any money for number 6, Arkhill Nutter?
Well, welcome back down here to the betting ring. Hunters are trying to retrieve their losses after the last race when Fahy Lass was backed into 6-4 on and was turned over. We're on now to the Cesarewitch Consolation final here tonight at Mullingar. All the money here in the ring, Michael, is coming for Trap 3. That's Ernie Twins. Now 6-4 clear favourite. It's a 5-2, number 2 Laffy Lad. It's 3-1 and number 5 Dartney Spring and Arkhill Nutter also on 3-1. And the outsider is in Trap 1 and 6-1. But the punters down here, they want Trap 3, Michael. Ernie Twins now 6-4 clear favourite for the Consolation final.
Consolation final for the Irish Cesarewitch itself. The Greyhounds that just didn't make it through from the semi-finals. Good race in prospect. We're now going to have a look at the form guide for this one. The 3 dogs that Robert has picked out, our form expert here tonight. Robert, proceed with your 3 dogs against the field here in the Consolation.
Thanks, Michael. We're going to start with Trap 1. That's Mark Durgin, trained by Paul Hennessy. Trap 1, he looks favourably trapped here. He hasn't been firing of late, Mark Durgin, but if he's anywhere close off that final bend, he'll be flying home. He's a big chance. The next one, we've Ernie Twins. Now, she's the only lady in tonight's lineup. Derby winning trainer Pat Curtin trains her. She was a leading fancy for the Cesarewitch outright, so she's a big chance. She can do it from the front or behind. She's going to go off favourite here. And in 6, perhaps the biggest threat to the favourite, it's a sole wide seat, Arkhill Nutter. This lad in his earlier days, they thought he was a flying machine. He hasn't quite lived up to expectations, but if he breaks tonight, he's going to be a major contender. It's a wide open race, but this lad, he could be the big threat to the favourite, Michael.
Yes, I'm looking there behind you and I see he's 4-1 on the tote at the moment. I think I'll have a sneaky few bob on this fellow at 4-1. Well drawn, has a chance. Now, what about Kennel View?
It's a very good race. The trap draw suits him. He likes the inside. He was unlucky in the semi-finals. Well, if he had been on the inside, he might have made it to the final. So, with a bit of luck, he might make it tonight.
Dartry Spray is in Trap 5 in the Consolation final. I was disappointed he didn't make the Safari. He got trouble at the first bend. So I'm hoping he'll go well now in the Consolation. If he breaks and comes out, it'll have a good chance.
Crocran there speaking, and Vera has a fantastic record down here around Mullingar. The Midland tracks generally, the Crocans train up there in County Fermanagh. Not too many greyhounds trained around Fermanagh, but the Crocans produce a huge number of winners every year, particularly here at Mullingar and Longford, as I say, on the Midland circuit. And well, they have some very fine runners indeed at the moment, and this Dartry Spring has been a great servant also. Runners now going to traps for the Consolation Irish Cesarewitch final. Most of them in there. We see number 2, Lockhill Lad, being put in. That's Mary Jennings' dog, and you can see Mary there putting this for in traps. To go in, 1, 3, 5 go in first, and then 2, 4, 6. On the far side there, you see Arkhill Nutter just being put in by Robert Gleeson. So they're all in here now at the moment. The bell will go now. All in, ready to go. The steward has a look, make sure they're all right. All perfectly in and no problems, not turned around. He gives the signal for the bell goes, the hare's on its way. In 1, Marked Urgent at 5-1, 2 Lucky Lad at 2s, 3 Ernie Twins at 2s, 4 for Lucky Lad at 8-1, in 5 Dartry Spring at 5s and 6s, Arkkill Nutter at 4-1. Here now coming around behind traps and ready to go, and away to go, very level. 2 seems to be out well, 3 Ernie Twins moves wide after coming out but is leading up. It's 2 and 3, that's Lucky Lad on the inside of 3, Ernie Twins around the corner, and 3 Ernie Twins runs a little wide, but it's still number 2, that's Lucky Lad with the advantage. 5 Dartry Spring now moves into second, Arkkill Nutter is at the rear, heading into the third bend. It's 2, that's Lucky Lad by just over a length from 5. Dartry Spring is challenging on the outside, 3 is next, Ernie Twins, the others are running all over the track, and it's 2, Lucky Lad has been in front all the way up to Shade Queen, challenged by 5 Dartry Spring, very close on the line with 5 Dartry Spring finishing strongly on the wide outside. We leave it to the judge, but 5 Dartry really came surging home in those last 20 yards. Did he catch Lucky Lad? We leave it to the judge. The time is 33:59. Well, a very exciting race as we see there. Number 5, Dartry Spring, the son of Premier Fantasy and Spring Edition. Did he get up? That's the question. We'll have another look at it now. A few of the runners were running all over the place there around the bottom bends. Away from the start, 3 Ernie Twins came out well, but moved very wide out to position 5 on the track. Now swings back in a little bit, but number 2, Lucky Lad, going up the inside, and he gains ground here around this opening bend, railing well and leading from 3 Ernie Twins. Now here's where 5 Dartry Spring makes his move down the back. Just 2 lengths into this stage, 2 Lucky Lad in front and 5 Dartry Spring getting close, but into the third bend, and it's 2 Lucky Lad from 5 challenging on the outside, Dartry Spring, and 3 just in behind Ernie Twins, and have just called Dartry Spring the winner. Here you'd swear it was going to be Lucky Lad winning, but watch Dartry Spring, he sprouts wings in the final 20 yards, and in the shadow of the post he just gets up to take it. Number 5 the winner here, Dartry Spring. Second is 3 Ernie Twins, number 2 Lucky Lad. Didn't spot what was third there and all the excitement of that one, but the winner is Dartry Spring. She was the last person we spoke to before the race, Vera Crorkin. Well, she's had the last say in the race too, because Dartry Spring gets up in the final strides for owner AJ McPhillips. So yes, if the final itself is any bit as exciting as that one, well, it'll be a real thriller. So we'll confirm the result of that shortly. I can tell you that Ernie Twins was in third place, but the winner was Dartry Spring.
Yeah, a couple of races and a couple of very, very tight finishes already, building up to the big one. But we've often here on Greyhound View spoke about the benefit nights that can contribute so much to local charities and local good causes. And in Mullingar Greyhound Stadium alone last year, over €700,000 was raised. 43 benefit nights were held. Last weekend, brilliant atmosphere right here where I'm standing as the Killucan GAA Club held a benefit night. We asked them what they plan to do with the loot.
Good night. Killucan GAA is a big association here with Mullingar Greyhound Track. They're here every for the last 7 or 8 years, and we always enjoy the night. Good night for the club members and for executive of the club as well, and also a good family night out, and a good fundraising night. This year, with a bit of a downturn, we decided we'd go for the Buster Draw, which is very successful. We sold 720 tickets. Every one of the tickets were all sold out during the week. We hope to make about 12 grand. At the moment, Killucan GAA is in the middle of a development of 2 pitches. We're developing from a greenfield site, 2 brand new pitches, hopefully clubhouse, dressing rooms, all that later on. We're phased development. At the moment, we have hope to have the pitches open later on this year. So it's an area, Killucan, that's expanded a lot in population. So we're hoping to have facilities available there in the next generations. We always found a great benefit of the club. We always made a bit of money out of it, had a bit of crack, members got together, and it's a good bonding night as well, We would recommend it, highly recommend it.
I play a small bit of football alright for Killucan GAA, senior club here now the last 3 or 4 years now, hoping to win the senior championship this year.
And you're all enjoying the fundraising night?
Oh yeah, it's good night.
Now wait till I ask you, the rest of the lads are having no luck. Are you backing any winners?
Oh yeah, a few so far now, yeah.
Yes, always do. It's my second home.
Yes, well, back here at Mullingar now. There we see the result of the Consolation. The winner was number 5, Dartry Spring, at 6-1, one for the bookmakers. Second, number 2, Lucky Lad, at 5-4, and third, number 3, Ernie Twins, at 5-2. The winning time, 33:59, a very useful effort.
Yeah, the jolly just nutted there. But if you want to know more about the benefit nights we were talking about, just log on to igb.ie for details. Now we'll take a quick break. Coming up, the big one, the 2009 Gain Feeds Irish Cesarewitch. Rejoin us in a moment. Again, and you're very welcome back to Greyhound View live here at Mullingar Greyhound Stadium. Building up to the big one now, 22.5 grand to the winner of the Gain Feeds Irish Cesarewitch. Fastest time set in the semi-finals was the time set by Frisky Fantasy. Let's take a look back at the semi-final action now, starting with the first of them.
And away they go, and Slick Sue away to a brilliant start in the centre. She leads up from 2. Top Louis going well on the inside. 3 Dartrey spring bang there. Here's Puckane Lady with an eye-catching run outside. They come off the second bend, and Slick Sue, the anti-post hot favourite, has a decent lead, but it's only a length and a half. Puckane Lady harries all the time on the inner. 6 the other. Sonic close enough if he's got enough. 2 Top Louis coming with a big run as well. It's 4, 5, 6, 2, 3 and 1. They're off the car park turn they come, and they're all in a bunch, and they're all in with a chance. Slick Sue still bang there on the outside. Top Louis finishing with a flourish inside. Top Louis maybe just by about a neck. It is a photo. We'll wait for the judge. The time 33.74.
Yeah, we're very happy with the trap draw. He hasn't been breaking here as he has been in Shelbourne Park, but please God, tonight now he might just get it right, hopefully. I feel the dog on trap 4 is the one that they'll have to beat. I think she's been running super in the competition, and she's the one that they're going to have to beat, in my opinion.
I'm happy enough with it, yeah. Happy enough with it. In another one, it suit me better, but I'm happy enough with 5, you know. But she ran okay. She picked up as the stake went on. She picked up after the first night. You know, she got to know the track a bit better.
Yeah, she's, you know, trap 6 is probably not ideal. She's very, the bitch is very well herself this evening. She probably ran a bit tired last week. She probably needed a little break. If she comes out, she has every chance. She has to come out though.
Well, that was a very strange semi-final, and let's just look at it a bit closer there, because Slick Sue, when she led, Robert, you wouldn't expect her to be beaten in the semi-final last week, having led like she did.
Yeah, you're dead right, Michael. She was odds on to win the first semi-final. We'll concentrate on the winner first. That was Top Louis. He came from nearly last to first to win it. Very lucky owner, Michael Dunn. He's a big chance tonight. The second place from the first semi-final, Puckane Lady. If you look at her form, she's been second in her last 3 starts. She has a big each-way chance tonight. She's going to be one of the outsiders. And then Slick Sue. She's the form greyhound in the race. She was on fire before last week's semi-final. She won the big one in Galway. And if you look at her sectionals, she's been leading in all her semi-finals, in all her races. She's a major, major chance in tonight's big one.
Yeah, she was reported lame following that race. Now, whether she's back right or not, or whether she's got tired after all her racing, we'll know in a few minutes. But now, next of all, let's check on the second semi-final run last week.
Here's the bunny, and away they go, and Lockhill lad away very well in the centre. 3 Frisky Fantasy showing decent early zip. Springwell Dot, the lady on the outside, comes the challenge. It's 3 Frisky Fantasy for John McGee with the lead off the second bend, and 6 Springwell Dot is sitting second. Freddie Mac looks booked for third. And down the back they go. 3 Frisky Fantasy owned by Pat Coffey and Aoife Coffey being challenged by Springwell Dot on the inside, but she's forced to check and now trails by 3. 3 Frisky Fantasy, there could be a clock on here. He's shown great determination and he opens up to the judge. Frisky Fantasy wins by about 3 lengths. 6 Springwell Dot for second. 5 Freddie Mac qualifies for the final back in third. The time 33.20.
Well, he's run the track, phenomenal dog on this track. I didn't think he'd handle the track, but I gave him a trial round here before the competition started and I couldn't believe it, the way he run the track, and he's done no wrong since. He's a bit off for the second round, excuse me, when he got beat, but he bounced back last week. Like he'd be a hard dog to beat, like if he was to come away.
Well, she ran well from the start. She won the first round, ran well, didn't get away that well, won the second round. She beat the two semi-final winners in the 4 lengths in the second round, and she ran well last week as well, second. But I thought she's in better form tonight, hoping for the best.
It's pretty open final. I'd say I'd say whatever beats the 2 dog would probably win. You know, if he leads, it'd be hard to beat him. I'd say home. You know, but I'd say we're fairly well drawn where we are anyway. He badly needs the rails. So, I mean, he's got one, so I mean, he's got his box. So we're hopeful. I mean, he's a good price. He's probably the value in the race. You know.
Well, that was a fine run in that semi-final from Frisky Fantasy, doing it the handy way, getting out in front all the running. Springwell Dot though ran a huge race in second, cut off at the bottom bend. Robert, you're looking at Frisky Fantasy first. Possible leader?
I think you're right, Michael. Yeah, like he was brilliant last week, fastest in the 2 semi-finals. John Ginger McGee, you know, he's done it before. This lad has a big chance, and he looks ideally housed in trap 2. We move on to Springwell Dot. Now, Springwell Dot, she's one of the 3 bitches in tonight's final. On her best form, she's a big chance. She could be the value in the race, and a little bit unlucky, as you said, in last week's semi-final. And then we move to the 3rd place, Freddie Mac, probably the outsider in tonight's big race. He could be suited by trap 1. He'll need a lot of luck if he's to win tonight. But to me, I think it could be one for the females, and it's going to be very important in the early stages.
You're really playing it very safe there, Robert. You haven't really committed on that one. Springwell Dot for those looking for value, although I think Slick Sue at her best would probably win this one. But we are all wondering, how is the betting going? Has Slick Sue held on as favourite, or is Frisky Fantasy and Springwell Dot, are they challenging for favouritism? David, over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Michael. Down here in the betting ring, we have now joint favourites for the big one. The Gain Feeds Irish Cesarewitch, and Frisky Fantasy is the 6-4 joint favourite, along with trap 6 Slick Sue. But many of the punters down here, their view is that trap 4 Springwell Dot is 3-1, and that could represent the big value in the race. But down here, 6-4 Frisky Fantasy, 6-4 Slick Sue. They can't separate them. It looks a 2-dog race on the betting between them, but many down here think Springwell Dot. And of course, 6-1 Freddie Mac. There's been a few pound down here for him. He was opened up 10-1 here on the track, now into 6-1, and 10-1 Puck On Lady, solid at 10s, and Top Louis priced at 6-1. Michael.
Tight at the top of the market and a few bob to change hands yet, I'd say. I've been joined by William Rigney of the sponsors Gain. William, are you having a good time?
We're having a great night. This is the big night of the year for Gain, and again, a large turnout, our 4th year associated with the whole programme. Very happy and having a great night. I think everybody is enjoying themselves. Unfortunately, no winners from it yet.
Not yet, but you might get one there if you stay close to Michael Fortune. He seems to be the man. Who are you going to back in this?
He's a man. Well, I won't have a bet in the final. I let them all. I wish the best luck to all 6 finalists. It's a very tight final, as the previous men have said there. I think if the slick bitch flies away, she quite possibly can get home and steal the show. But Springwell Dot ran a huge race here last week, and if she gets a clear run or gets a nice run and she's thereabouts in contention coming home, she'll be the lady. So again, reiterating what was said previously, I think it could be a night for the ladies, notwithstanding Frisky Fantasy. If he gets out and gone, he's a serious dog. He's done 2 fastest runs in the state.
You're worse than Robert. You managed to mention all 6 there, but well done, and thanks. Springwell Dot could be, because it's a beautiful evening you've got for your event. We'll join Michael now and he'll talk us through the parade.
Yes, the runners are now on parade for the 2009 Gain Feeds Irish Cesarewitch final. And in trap 1 here we've Freddie Mac. This is a young dog on the upgrade, owned by Jim Hennessy, trained by Tommy O'Donovan, son of Top Honcho and Chubby Survivor. He's won 8 of his 19s. Not a great starter. Running home strongly, represents that team of Jim Hennessy, and well, Tommy's father Timmy won the Derby a few years back, and Freddie Mac another star for them. In 2 then we have Frisky Fantasy, which is trained by John McGee, who's won this one before, for Pat Coffey and Aoife Coffey, a son of Premier Fantasy and Hail or Shine. Good dog when he gets out in front. This is a hard dog to beat. Good early pace and sure to be contesting that lead, and don't be surprised if he leads him all the way. Then in 3 we have Top Louis, owned by stud-keeper Michael Dunn and trained by Ernie Cook, a son of Top Honcho and Pam's Speech. This dog is a great strike rate also, 9 from 18. He has been known to lead in his races. He also comes from behind. He got up late last week to win Slick Sue's semi-final. That brings us then on to number 4 here, which is Springwell Dot. Big local runner this from Athlone, owned by Dennis Hannon, who's bred the Springwells for years after years. And well, he's had great success with them. This is a daughter of Razzle Dazzle Billy and Springwell Sue. She's won 7 of her 22 races, but she's been placed in 18 of them. This one can do it from the front or the back. She's a smashing bitch for. 5 then we have
in this one is Puckan Lady, which is owned by Maura Malloy, one of the outsiders of the party, a daughter of Top Savings and Proud Rossley. 6 from 22. Good early pace. She's been second in her last number of races here at Mullingar, but this one gets out. She had a great battle all the way with Slick Sue last week. And then in trap 6, we have the aforementioned Slick Sue, owned by Keith Alsop and trained by Pat Buckley, who was over in Scotland last night supervising his Scottish Derby runners. This one another daughter of Premier Fantasy and Maybe Baby, and Slick Sue won the Ted Champion Bitch Stake before she came here to Mullingar for this competition. She was unbeaten in the first 2 rounds, faded a bit home last week, but she has the ability to pop out and do a big run. That's number 6, Slick Sue. So they're the runners in this final of the Gain Feeds Irish Cesarewitch. They're leaving the parade area now to walk down to the bottom of the track, the 600 yard traps. So by the time they get there, we'll know exactly how the betting is going with David in the ring.
Up 6-4, it's gone out as far as 5-2 now, but Frisky Fantasy is now the 2-1 clear favourite for the big one here tonight in Mullingar. And there was a bit of interest in trap 4, Springwell Dot, 3-1 into 2-1, now is back out to 3-1. So really bookmakers finding it very hard, but at the moment the clear favourite for our big race of the night, the Gain Feeds Irish Cesarewitch, is Frisky Fantasy, priced at 2-1.
Around the event here in Mullingar was to sell nominations to have a dog running for you in a way in the big event tonight, and one of the people who was lucky enough to grab a dog for herself is Margaret, who was here. Margaret, who's your dog? Well, I probably shouldn't need to ask.
My dog is number 4, Springwell Dot.
Tell us, how did you buy it? How did that come about? Are you a regular here?
I am. I put €20 in at the beginning of the competition, and I was delighted to get dog number 4. And I'm hoping to win.
And you got dinner anyway, didn't you, for getting into the final 6?
Yes, I did, and we've had a really nice meal here, and we've had a bit of crack with the friends here.
Well done, and you followed them throughout. Now, Philip has joined me, Philip Peake is manager. Philip, how does this whole thing work? What will happen now for Margaret when her dog romps home by 6 lengths?
Well, the way we've worked it, Dara, is we always do something here for the Retired Greyhound Trust. So this year we got together with Gain and we did 48 dogs in the competition. As Margaret said, €20 to enter. The 6 finalists that got through were lucky enough to eat in the restaurant tonight. And then the final wins a weekend away for 2 people over the next couple of weeks as well. So it's created great interest for local people, regulars to the track. And as you can see, we have a presentation here tonight of the cheque to the Retired Greyhound Trust. We rose €1,000, and Frank O'Connell from the Irish Greyhound Board is receiving the cheque, and John Fox from Clonbia is presenting the cheque. So it's a
good response, so Philip.
Great response, and it's a very good way of getting people interested, and gives them something extra to follow the competition.
Well, that's it. I guess you have to keep coming up with stuff just to create a bit of a buzz about it. But as I said there, you're lucky with the weather, you're lucky with the attendance. It's all going swimmingly.
Yeah, thankfully. Very lucky with the weather. I think you could poke it down with a big stick now at this stage. It's got very dark, but very successful day. And again, I'd like to thank Gain for their continued support of the event. A fantastic event, and best of luck to the 6 finalists.
Okay, and you're not going to give us the winner, so?
I'm not, no. I think I would not be very good at picking the winner in this one.
You stick on the fence there, okay? Let's go back to David. Will we catch up with the betting? What's the latest?
Well, the latest in the betting ring here now is Frisky Fantasy is the 2-1 joint favourite along with trap number 4, Springwell Dot. They've come for this one in a big way here at Mullingar tonight, and it's 3-1 now, would you believe, the Tyrone Ted. Back to Michael.
Yes, well, that's a surprise in the ring. Well, it's not really surprised that Springwell Dot has come in for a major move, but the drift on Slick Sue out to 3-1. But whatever, their runners are now being placed in traps for the 2009 Gain Feeds Irish Cesarewitch final. That is Frisky Fantasy, the joint favourite, with number 4 Springwell Dot going in next door to it. And on the outside is the other fancied runner, Slick Sue, being put into 6. So they're nearly all in there. The last 2 dogs now to be put in for this one. 22.5 grand, the prize on offer for the Gain Feeds Irish Cesarewitch final for 2009. The steward now comes out in front of the track. That's young Tony Fahy. He'll examine, make sure all the dogs are in properly. They're not turning. He's satisfied. The bell goes, and now we have the final. The Gain Feeds Irish Cesarewitch. 1 Freddie Mac at 6-1. 2 Frisky Fantasy at 2-1. 3 Top Louis at 6-1. 4 Springwell Dot 5-2. 5 Puckan Lady 10-1. And 6 Sue at 5-2. Ready for off and away to go. And Slick Sue misses the start. 5 came out well. Puckan Lady up the middle. It's 4 Springwell Dot. 1 getting up the inside as well, but on the corner 5 shoots up the outside. Puckan Lady. A lot of trouble between 3 Top Louis and 6 Slick Sue, but down the far side it's 5 Puckan Lady out front from 1 and 2nd spot Freddie Mac. Then comes 2 Frisky Fantasy, but it's Puckan Lady at 10-1 the leader. Now the gap is closing with 2 Frisky Fantasy in pursuit. He
rails best. Up the straight, 5 Puck On Lady, 2 Frisky Fantasy coming towards the line. 5 Puck On Lady the winner. It's 5 Puck On Lady at 10-1 the winner. Second is 2 Frisky Fantasy, and third number 1 Freddie Mac. The time 33.65. It's like the National yesterday. The bookies are doing a dance down in the ring. They've got the ultimate result here with Puck On Lady winning the 2009 Game Feeds Irish Cesarewitch 10-1 outsider at the off. But no semblance of a fluke there. She did it nicely. There was a lot of trouble in the early stages. 5 and 6 came into contact. Well, Puck On Lady was 5, but she ran strongly. Watched the bump between 5 and 6 there early, but she still ran strongly to the corner. 4 was going up well. Springwell Dot. On the inside, 1 and 2 came through with an effort. 6 tried to get back into it, Slick Sue. She's badly balked, along with 3 Top Louis. And into the far side now, it's 5 Puck On Lady, leading by 4 lengths now from 1 Freddie Mac in second. Here, Frisky Fantasy produced a big run to go into second, and now at the third bend he started to close, and closed pretty dramatically in a few strides. 5 seemed to lose a stride there. Puck On Lady out front, but she gets going again and she gallops on relentlessly to the line. Number 5 Puck On Lady stays on strongly, and a very, very deserving winner here. Number 5 Puck On Lady, the winner from Frisky Fantasy and Freddie Mac, the time 33.65. And there is the champion, the new champion of the Irish Cesarewitch. Puck On Lady, this daughter of Top Savings and Proud Rossley. She's won 6 of her 22 races. She has now won 7 of her 23 races, and will confirm the result of this one after a short break. Yes, well, they're still talking here about that shock result here. Returned at 14-1. That's number 5 Puck On Lady, owned by Maura Malloy. 14-1, winning the Game Feeds Irish Cesarewitch. Second, number 2 Frisky Fantasy at 2-1, and third, number 1 Freddie Mac at 7-1. The time 33.65, and we'll go down to Dara now, who's talking to the connections.
And Walter Malloy, congratulations, well done, and back to Nina with that big check now.
Puck on. Back to McGrath and Puck on.
After which the lady is named. Well done, Puck On Lady. Any plans for a Walter?
Sure, we never know. Sure. We don't know. Have no plans at the moment.
Enjoy tonight.
Yeah. Same to that. Thanks very much.
Many congratulations. Great win for Puck On Lady. Round of applause for Walter Malloy there. Okay, let's take a look at the upcoming events in the world of greyhound racing.
These are really hectic times on the track front, with the BCR Print Easter Cup reaching the semi-final stage at Shelbourne Park next Saturday, and the final on Saturday, April 18th. Another classic currently in progress is the Red Mills Produce Stakes at Clonmel, and the action will continue there each Sunday until the final on May 3rd. The Shelbourne Aston unraced second round will be run at Shelbourne next Thursday and will be compulsive viewing, while the Oran Majestic 550 will commence at Shelbourne on April 25th. The next major on the provincial circuit will be the Cox Cup, which gets underway at Newbridge on April 24th. The McCarthy Insurance Group Cork Oaks is currently in progress at Curryheen Park, while the Northwest Oaks at Lifford starts later in the month.
Well, that's about it from Greyhound View, live from Mullingar. Great scenes. The big one has gone to Puck On Tipperary. We'll leave you with the presentation to the Malloys and Puck On Lady.